One of Pope Francis's first words in his homily was to pray for the soul of the late Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI.
E oggi affidiamo alla Madre Santissima l'amato Papa Emerito Benedetto XVI perché lo accompagni nel suo passaggio da questo mondo a Dio.
This topic is extremely important because the majority of the world probably believes that when a person dies, their soul or their spirit leaves the body and goes to another realm. Now, if you believe that, and you don't believe what the Bible teaches, then Satan can teach you whatever he wants to teach you, because he can disguise himself, or one of his angels can disguise themselves as a departed relative or a departed friend. And if you believe that that is your friend, then that friend can, supposed friend, can tell you whatever they want, and you're going to believe it because you're thinking that God is sending them to talk to you from the other world. So this is a very important point. We need to just go by what the Bible says. If a departed relative should appear before us, which is not a possibility, we should say, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, but you are not my relative, because the Bible says the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing.
Where does the idea of the immortality of the soul originate?
Well, once again, we go to the original book of the Bible. You know, if we want to really understand the Bible, we have to begin in Genesis. And so I want to go back to Genesis chapter 3. Genesis chapter 3. As we know, God placed a tree in the Garden of Eden, in the midst of the garden. It's known as the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God had told Adam and Eve in Genesis 2:16 and 17 that if they ate from that tree, they would surely die. And of course, it's emphasized by the fact that really in the Hebrew, it says, you will die by death, as if there's any other way of dying. In other words, God is saying you're going to really die. But then we know that the serpent came into the garden and was there at the tree. And the serpent said something very interesting to Eve. It's found in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 4. Then the serpent said to the woman, by the way, we know this serpent is Satan, according to Revelation 12, verse 9. He's called the ancient serpent, the devil and Satan. So he says to the woman, you will not surely die. So this is the first time in the Bible where Satan lies to a human being saying, you're not going to die, you're going to live forever. But clearly, the devil was wrong, because the Bible tells us just a little bit later in verses 22 to 24 that God placed cherubim, powerful angels, at the entrance of the garden so that Adam and Eve could not enter into the garden. He expelled them so they could not enter the garden and eat of the tree of life and live forever. So clearly, once they were barred from the tree of life, they lived their life. Adam lived to be 930 years, and then he died. So that's the origin of the doctrine of the immortality of the soul.
Thank you very much, Pastor. So we see that the devil was the one who introduced this idea that the soul lives forever, even in a state of sin.